recorded and broadcast by our local cable access channel, WCAT. It's on Facebook and YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. We're going to call the meeting to order at 3:30. This is a notice of public hearing. The Warren Board of Health will hold a public hearing on July 29th, which is today at 2:30 p.m. at 2252 Main Street, West Warren, 01092. I know that's a code. To consider the appeal of the order to correct issued by the Board of Health on July 23rd, 2026, directing the property to be vacated at 64 Richardson Street. Okay, I'd like to hear evidence now from the health inspector.
So from December of 2025 to currently, we received 5 complaints regarding someone living on a property in a camper, question of waste disposal, noise, which we don't regulate, but basically it was, the main concerns were living in a trailer, camper, waste disposal. Sent a notice of code inspection, met with the owner on 7/21, confirmed that living in the camper with not sure when building will be happening, no running water, no sewer hookup, no permanent electricity, sent an order to correct with a cease and desist via constable and regular mail. Violations were temporary housing is being occupied by the owner of the property. No temporary housing is allowed unless Board of Health approves. You must cease and desist living in the camper unless the Board of Health approval is received. That comes from 410-440 from the Massachusetts Housing Code, 105 CMR. It says no person may allow temporary housing to be occupied without the written permission of the Board of Health. All temporary housing shall be subject to the requirements of 105 CMR 410, except as the Board of Health may otherwise provide in its written permission. Violation number 2, no source of potable running water is available, 410-130. The owner shall provide a supply of potable water sufficient in quantity and pressure to meet the ordinary needs of every occupant. Violation 3, no connection to a sewage system. For each residence, the owner shall provide and maintain in a sanitary condition a sanitary drainage system consisting of 1, a lawful connection to the public sewage system, 2, a means of on-site sewage disposal in compliance with 105 CMR 15, the state's environmental code, Title 5, 3, a lawful connection to a privately owned wastewater treatment facility. Violation 4, temporary wiring is being used for electricity. Temporary wiring, no temporary wiring shall be used or made available for use by any owner or occupant. The owner or occupant shall place wiring under a rug, blah, blah, blah. It's really just the A1 that is the issue with that. And those were the 4 violations that we saw at the inspection. Did a plain sight view. The inspection report is attached along with the order to correct. So the time frame from compliance on those was 24 hours upon constable for the water, the sewage, the wiring, and then we gave a 7-day cease and desist notice for temporary housing.
Okay, is that it?
That's it on that.
Okay, alleged violator. Go ahead.
Property owners of
Property
64.
Have anything to say?
Well, I don't kind of like agree with all that because we do have water. It's not hooked up to the system, sewer system and town water system, but we do have running water on my camper. I searched rules from Massachusetts. It says it's not illegal for residents to wanna take care of their own water and sewer system. So I got a tank. I first used a company to remove the sewer system, the water, the black water. And now I do it myself and then go to Millbury and dump the water, the black water there. And using potable to move that water. So I also have my own battery system on my camper, so I don't need electricity from the town at the moment. Of course, I do eventually gonna have all the hookup for when I'm gonna build. Right now, we're just cleaning up the area because it was a mess, and I don't even halfway done cleaning. So that's why I say coming to the inspector hookup. So I don't know when I'm gonna start building, but eventually it will happen. Obviously, I'm not gonna live in a camper my whole life. That's not the intention. So what else?
And we are living there since
Oh, yeah.
December because we were.
December, let me explain. December was getting everything out from my old house because we sold it and buy this place and putting everything in there as the best we can do. And we was organizing all that. That's why was the noise maybe, I don't know. And we leave at the beginning of the January, right?
Yeah,
We live on
January 7th.
January 7th for Caribbean, and I come back on the 4th of July. She come back before because my younger son have MCAS, because he's homeschooling. So they come back and was in the property maybe a day or two and go out back and forth, just taking care of everything, just making sure it's safe because I don't know the area. I do have cameras, but sometimes they flick, But that's the situation. So when I was out of the country, my son was here in college, not here, but in college on Rhode Island, and he was coming back and forth on the weekend just to make sure everything was right. So it was technically nobody living in the area, in the camp. But he got the letter from Tessa, and he met her sometime in January, right?
Yeah.
And she confirmed nobody was living in the place. He was there just waiting for her to go out. So at that point, I have been being there full time until now, maybe. And he told me, that Tessa told her that if you have planned to live more than 90 days, you gotta go and follow the rules, and all that.
Go to town.
Yeah. So, which we only have, not even have 30 days in the place as myself, and they was just back and forth.
Going I was in a family member house. And
Well, they haven't had water either because my truck was down. When I come back, I work on it and fix it. All this I saw me doing that, fixing my truck to get the water and get everything back to working condition. And then after that was that we are technically living in the camper. From that visit, that was one couple days after, maybe I fixed the truck.
yeah, on the weekend
Yeah.
before she went to the inspection.
And we making noise, of course, I had to cut trees, cleaning,
Yeah.
have my music back and forth sometimes, not too often, but I like to hear the bird too. But, yeah, that's all I got. Oh, sorry, one more thing. She tried to call the water and sewage because, of course, it's way better just having hook up. And that was one of the reasons we bought the property because they have water and sewer connection. but they say we had to replace the water and sewer line connection.
No, we need to contract
So,
someone to.
At that point, I say, well, if I had to redo that line, I wanna do it where I wanna have the house, or the first building, I wanna have a couple buildings built. Because I want a garage, and back in, I wanna have my cabin, my small village. So I say, well, we're gonna wait for that, right, and keep cleaning, planning what we're gonna do.
Yeah, figuring out where we want to build, whatever we build.
Anything else?
Nothing like that, right?
Okay. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak out, you have a 3-minute time limit.
Yeah.
We're going to be holding you right to the 3-minute time limit. Okay, so
Just let
state
me
your
know when the
name and
time's
your
up.
address when you,
Yep, my name is Steve Sutter. I live at 48 Richardson Street. I'm the abutter of 64. And first and foremost, right, with all the health issues at hand with that, is that are we even allowed to have a camper plunk it down in the middle of a residential neighborhood and just camp? I don't think that's the case, but, you know. So I think they've been there a lot longer than they say. We see them all the time, you know, and I'm not gonna dispute that or get into a match with that. But number one, for the health, you know, it's just not right. It's not right for someone to come in and, if you've seen the site, there's a lot of vehicles there, there's you know, little pop tents everywhere. It looks terrible, you know? And I'm worried first for the health, that it's not right to live in a camper, you know? But I look at my appreciation value, right? Who's gonna come by and buy my house and look at that site, right? No one should be allowed to live in a camper. If that's the case, I got a lot of land up behind my house. I'll throw some campers in. I mean, I don't think it's right. If we start that, if we allow that, where do we draw the line? Before you know it, we got Camper City. Welcome to Warren, Camper City. I mean, it's just wrong. And I don't care who owns the property. I think it's wrong no matter who was up there. I don't care who it be. It's just wrong the way that they're living. And the noise, yeah, I've had to call the cops a couple times. Music is not just played, it's bouncing off my walls. You know, and you know, the late night building, I'm like, you know, lately it's been okay. But those are the issues that I've had. I firmly believe that it's just wrong. And you know, I mean, I was up in the woods in my land there like 2 weekends ago, and I saw him going up in the woods with a big white jug. I don't know what that is, but one can only speculate. Who's policing him? Who's making sure that he has real potable water, that it has the right PSI? Who's making sure that his waste is going out the door? But even all that being said, is it right to have a camper on a site? You know, I understand temporary housing, but from what I understand, he owns property in another city or whatever. So I don't know what draws you to Warren to just set up a campsite, you know, and that's exactly what it looks like, a campsite. Thank you.
okay. Anyone else?
Yes, I'm a butter as well.
State your name and address.
Diane Fanfield at 72 Richardson. I voiced some of the same concerns, but primarily, I mean, if they are having their waste taken off-site, and he says he's bringing it to Millbury, at least can we see some documentation that that's being handled correctly? That's my main concern, because we want to make sure that the land isn't being contaminated, that those systems are secure, it's not going into our land. Even, I mean, we do have town water, but that doesn't mean we want that groundwater to be contaminated.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to say
State your
something.
name and
Oh,
address.
sorry. David Baxter, 55 Richardson Street. I live across the street from 64. I've lived in that house some 40 some odd years, maybe longer. I lose track. But I was really happy to see somebody buy that lot with the prospect of building a house, maybe having some more kids in the neighborhood. New tax base, okay? somebody buying our water, somebody paying for sewage like we are, somebody paying the taxes on the property. I don't see any of that going on this way, okay? We're losing out on revenue from the water, the sewage, not to mention the tax base. And I don't think it's right to have a trailer across the street from my house. I understand they're very nice people. I got no problem with that. I have a problem with what they're doing. It's against the law and it shouldn't happen. One case is enough. From what I understand, from what I've seen, it looked to me like they were living there last fall, last couple of months of the year. People coming and going. I don't know what's going on. I don't watch them, but I can see with my own eyes what's going on. And then back in April, it appeared they came back from, I'll just say Florida, and then the activity started all over again. This summer, I hear somebody doing body work outside, banging on this, banging on that. There's several cars up there that aren't even registered. I mean, where's the sewage going? If you're bringing in 250-gallon tanks of water, where's it going when you're done with it? So many times I've smelled chemicals in the air, and I've recognized that from campgrounds. I know what's going on. Can't prove it, but I know what's going on. That's all I got to say.
Okay, anyone else?
Cynthia Baxter, 55 Richardson Street. I've met Eric and his wife and their family, and they seem to be nice people. I don't have a problem with them at all. But in the springtime, I was coming up from my driveway, and I smelled this really strange chemical smell that I have never smelled before. And I think the Raphael from college was up there, and I went and asked Mr. Google, who knows everything, and the smell that I asked about was, is there a particular smell that comes from an RV when the septic is being recharged or whatever, and that's what that smell was. And it hung in the air for quite a while, and it was pretty pungent down in my driveway and up in the front. And there was nobody for me to ask, what was that? Was that safe? How often am I gonna smell that? It's just, it's not a good situation. I want them to build a house, I want them to be happy there, I want them to be part of the neighborhood. But it worries me that we're at this point. I mean, was it made clear to Eric and his family that they couldn't stay there long-term? Or are they just deciding that they're gonna do what they feel they should do when the town has laws and requirements that we all have to meet, whether we like it or not, you know? So that's just my concern. I like them. I think they'll be good for the neighborhood. But I don't feel warm and fuzzy about being in this predicament. And I know I walk a lot, and I'm pretty sure July 4th wasn't the first time the family was up there. I'm pretty sure. And, you know, I'm not gonna dispute that with you, that's what you wanna say.
Yep.
But I know what I was experiencing. And I don't know if it's an accumulation of 90 days, is it 90 days consecutive? Is it 90 days, however you count those days? I mean, is it 90 days, you gotta stay there 90 days from this day to this day, or you can stay 10 days and then leave, and then the 90 days starts again? Because I think we're at that point. I would like them to be happy, I'd like them to build. I was disappointed this spring when I asked about that, and they told me they hadn't pulled any permits and they hadn't planned on building this year. And that's not a hopeful place for our community to be, as much as I like them, because I do find them to be pleasant people.
Anyone else?
May I, one more, just a quick thing, is like, why can't the camper go to a campground where they have facilities dedicated for campers? You know, there's campgrounds in Burnfield, Mass. There's campgrounds in Munson, Mass.
West Brookfield too.
West Brookfield, just wondering about that. It's one thing if you want to build a house, okay, but how long will you be living in a camper? You know, I'm sure no permits, like you say, have not been pulled yet, and this November will be a year that he's on the property. You know, again, I totally agree with her that, you know, building a house, that's wonderful. But the living conditions while you're gonna build this house, said house, I don't know. I just don't feel like, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's gonna go forward, but the living conditions is just wrong. It's just wrong. Residential neighborhood, big camper, or any camper for that matter, and a family living there, you know, that's just not good. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, Jim Danforth, 72 Richardson. Isn't the building department really responsible for some of that too? Like when I say occupancy permit, when you're building a house, you get final done and you get your occupancy permit to move into that house. At this
Yeah, we're
point-
not answering questions, we're taking the information in.
Right, but you know what I'm saying, is
Yep,
at that
I know what
point
you're saying.
there, there's no occupancy to live on that property from anybody from the building department too, not just the health department, the building department as well. Because he probably hasn't gone up to do anything like to build the house yet, or produce plans to build it, so maybe that's why. But I didn't think you could move onto a piece of property and then not have an occupancy permit to actually live there.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? If not, we're gonna close the hearing. Time. Hearing is closed at 3:52 p.m. And now we're gonna discuss. So, what do you?
I mean, to me, it's straightforward. There's, you know, no running water, no sewer. You know, I understand they're, you know, essentially trucking in water and trucking out the sewer, but, you know, it's one thing on a very temporary basis, but, you know, it's not something that can be long-term, which seems like would be the case if we were to allow it. You know, I'd get it if like there was a fire or something, the house needed work because of an incident, you know, given some leeway to that, but there's, you know, no plans to build a house right now, and so it seems, you know, it's gonna go on for a while like this. Not to mention it's not tied into any actual electric, even with a battery system, it's on a generator. And then I do believe there's somewhere in the bylaws, I know it's meant for more like mobile home parks, but I'm pretty sure it's like a bylaw against mobile homes only in certain like designated parts.
Same kind of feelings. My biggest thing is the sewage. Unsure of exactly sounds. Is it getting properly done? That's my
I believe that once you have sewage and you're disposing of sewage, that has to be hauled off by a licensed sewage hauler, which isn't in place. Okay. Again, there's also requirements for the permits for occupancy on the property, and that's not in place. The health code is explicit in what the requirements are and what needs to be met in order to be living on a piece of property. And none of those requirements have been met. So I don't think that this can continue any further than it has already. So I would like to see us vote today and make a determination of what we want to do. And I'm looking at possibly a 7-day extension. On the cease and desist.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to do a 7-day extension to, you know, give opportunity to make other arrangements. You know, I know it's not an easy process, so, you know, to say, since they're appealing it, to say, yeah, you know, today's the deadline, seems a little harsh, but days is enough to at least come up with some other arrangements for the meantime, till there's a more permanent plan.
Okay, once this is, I think we need to go a little bit further than just a 7-day extension, or you need to attach fines to it if there's any further violations. And I know we can move from $100 to $300 per day. Anything over that would be considered criminal. So I'm saying, if it goes beyond the 7-day extension, if we allow that, then we'll start off with a $100 day fine for every day over the extension. Your feelings?
Yeah, I would go along with that. The 7-day.
Want to make a motion, somebody?
Yeah, so, 7 days, so we,
That
Is
would
that
be
August 5th or
August
4th?
4th.
let's say the 5th. 5th is exactly 7 days, 5th is next Wednesday.
So 7 days extension, and after that, if it's not corrected, then there is a $100 per day fine.
So I will make a motion to grant a 7-day extension that will last till August 5th, to cease and desist any, living on the property at 64 Richardson Street. If the corrections are not made and some, there's still residents on the property, fine be set at $100 a day per day, till it's corrected.
Go ahead, second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion made, motion carried. You get that all written? Okay. All right, and now we're gonna move to adjourn the meeting.
So I'll make a motion to adjourn meeting at 3:58.
May I just ask one quick question though, as far as what you guys have determined? So,
What does that mean?
yeah, exactly, so let's say in 7 days, right? That means they need to obtain an occupancy permit, they need to have sewer, they need to have water?
Whole ball of wax.
Okay.
Temporary housing,
Yeah,
so
and then-
beyond that,
Right.
yeah.
So then, I mean, is the town gonna look into that and make sure that they are complying? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Make a motion.
Meeting is now adjourned at
3:59.
3:59 p.m.